I don't know how she's doing that. Let's see if she hears us.
On the float. Do you remember seeing that in the email today?
Oh gosh, I'm helping the hospital with their float. That's 20th. Too many dates. I can't remember.
Let's see.
Is it helping with the float, or is it
It's in this
leading up to a part of the float?
You know, I had heard that they were wanting people to participate in building the float if they wanted to ride, because they're having trouble getting participation.
Oh, wow, okay.
But, you know, now that don't have a day job, I can help.
I would love to help if I had. I would love to have time to help. That would be awesome.
November 25th.
Christy, was
you were
Suzanne
right.
able to get in?
O'clock.
Yeah, she signed in twice.
Okay.
So I'm hoping she can hear us.
She's not from Chicago, so it's not like she has to vote twice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I have 6 o'clock. If everyone would please rise and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And Christy, could you take roll call, please?
Sure. Critelli,
Present.
Pappenfort,
Here.
Stevens,
Here.
Nacarado,
Here.
Martin,
Here.
Fontana,
She did raise her hand online.
okay. Mayor Shore,
Here.
a quorum is present.
Great, and that brings us to the consent agenda. Any questions, comments, thoughts on that this evening?
Mr. Mayor, I move to combine and approve the consent agenda.
Second.
So we have a motion from Councilmember Martin, seconded by Councilmember Pappenfort, and the motion is to combine and approve the items on the consent agenda. Further discussion?
Stevens,
Yes.
Critelli,
Yes.
Nacarado,
Yes.
Fontana, Pappenfort,
Yes.
Martin,
Yes.
motion passed.
And next up, we have citizen comment. And this is an opportunity for the council to hear from our community. Public will be limited to 3 minutes each during comments. If for some reason you feel like that's not enough time, please feel free to reach out to me after the meeting, and I'll be happy to give you more time. It's just we're running a business meeting, and I'll hold everyone accountable to the 3 minutes in the interest of fairness. The council may not respond to your comment this evening. Rather, they may take your comments and suggestions under advisement, and your questions will be directed to the appropriate department for follow-up. And if necessary, the city administrator will correct the public record. And so we have Jess Smith. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me. It's not a full room, but my name is Jess Smith, and I don't know how many of you know, but I have been on the Prost board. And I'm stepping down from the Prost board for some health reasons, but I wanted to take the opportunity to come in tonight as I leave Prost after about 2 years and say thank you to you all, and thank you to the staff and to the other Prost board members. I think that you all as a council and staff and the board obviously work very hard, but I wanted to point to an opportunity that you all have with this particular board of Prost and how motivated and well assembled that group is. I think there's a fantastic diversity of skills on the Prost board right now, and it's a group that is really willing to go above and beyond. If you all had any other tasks or any other direction that you wanted to give them. And Diesel does a fantastic job of telling the Prost board on our action items what council has been discussing and giving us the rundown of that communication between the two of us. But I don't know if there's a formal mechanism for you all to get more FaceTime with that board, maybe, or if you would consider making one. But I guess just wanted to point to that opportunity with this particular staff and this particular board. I think that it would be fantastic for you all to get some face-to-face with them more often and maybe expand on some of the things that they do.
Thank you for that feedback, and thank you for your service. That is all I have signed up. Do we have anyone online?
We do. We have Adam. Let me unmute him.
Okay. Adam, can you hear us?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. I would like to comment about a couple issues. The first issue is I want to thank you for reopening Oak Street. And in essence, I would like to see you guys put a stoplight over by Oak Street and then one over by Poncha Boulevard, like Elisa and Suzanne said, with people not recognizing the speed limit and people driving fast. I think you guys need to look at putting a stoplight light, number one. Number two, I would like to see. I am so happy that Mrs. Adelman is off of the 610 Walnut Street property, and I was wanting to ask the city attorney, in essence, what the plan is for the city to take over the property, and in essence, and number three, I talked about this at the last meeting about having the mayor and the city administrator off the Chief County Housing and Development, Chief County Authority. I'm sorry, because it just presents a red flag, and it doesn't look good. And in essence, and I want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, that's all we have for citizen comment. Next up, we have Lister. We will be operating as the Liquor Licensing Authority. And this is a public hearing before the Salida City Council, sitting as the Salida Local Liquor Licensing Authority on behalf of an application for a new tavern liquor license submitted by Sarah Walsh on behalf of Lucky Penny Group LLC for the premises with a street address of 136 Old Stage Road, Unit 1A within the city of Salida. Before the hearing begins, I will outline the manner in which the hearing will be conducted in the order in which we will receive testimony. And just, everyone up here knows, but as applicants, I just want you to know I'm going to be really repetitive because we have to follow this script, but we will get there, I assure you. Let's see. Although the authority is acting as a judge of this case, I note for the applicant and members of the public that strict rules of evidence do not apply. Any evidence that is relevant to the matter at hand may be considered by this authority. It is then up to each member of the authority to determine the credibility and weight of all such evidence as it relates to their decision. As chair, I may limit testimony or evidence determined to be irrelevant, repetitive, or cumulative. And the order of the hearing will be as follows. Number one, the authority will accept the preliminary investigation reports and findings of the city clerk. 2, the applicant may present an opening statement, if any. 3, the applicant will present its request to the authority. And prior to excusing the applicant's witnesses, cross-examination may be permitted in the following order. 1 would be A would be authority members, and B would be any other party of interest. Number 4, the city may present evidence and witnesses, if any. Prior to excusing the city's witnesses, cross-examination shall be permitted in the following order. A, the applicant or its representative. B, authority members. And C, any other party of interest. 5, any party of interest may present evidence and testimony. Before excusing witnesses, cross-examination of interested parties and their witnesses shall be permitted in the following order. A, the applicant or its representative. And B, authority members. 6, the applicant may then present any rebuttal evidence if it wishes to, and then the city may then also provide rebuttal evidence if any. 7, the applicant is then permitted to give a closing statement if they choose, and throughout this process, the authority may ask questions. And after all evidence and testimony has been received, I will close the public hearing. The authority will then begin its deliberations on this application. the authority will make a decision by motion and roll call vote. I now open the public hearing on an application for a new tavern liquor license for Lucky Penny LLC, DBA Liberty Hall at 136 Old Stage Road, Unit 1A, Salida, Colorado. I invite the city clerk to provide the authority with the city's preliminary investigation reports and findings.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm glad to turn it over to someone.
Yeah, for a few minutes.
Yeah.
So a new tavern liquor license application was submitted by Sarah Walsh on behalf of Lucky Penny Group LLC, doing business as Liberty Hall. The notice of public hearing was published in the Mountain Mail on October 15th, and the premises was posted on November 7th. All proper fees have been collected for the city and the state of Colorado. Fire and police inspections will be scheduled for the new tavern if it's approved, if the license is approved by you all. Background checks have all been done and came back good. With that, staff recommends that the Liquor Licensing Authority approve the new tavern liquor license request for Lucky Penny Group LLC, DBA Liberty Hall at 136 Old Stage Road, Unit 1A.
Great, thanks. Okay, so that will take us to the applicant. You are more than welcome to present an opening statement if you would like.
Thank you all for coming tonight and hearing us. So we are going to be opening, hopefully with approval, a small cocktail bar in the Two Rivers area. Business partner Joe here lives in the area, and we've found that there's a lot of new people coming to the area, different ages, different backgrounds, and having a small place to gather would be a great place for the community to get to know each other and bring our amazing community even tighter. Joe, would you like to add anything to that?
Yeah, so live down in that area. Obviously, there's a lot of new development coming in. We're frequent patrons of Howard General, Mojo's, Kim's Gym, et cetera. We're just looking to kind of round out that little business district down there with another kind of staple go-to place, upscale cocktail bar where folks can gather in the afternoon or evening. Which there's not really much of a gathering place after about 2 o'clock there at the moment. And as things grow, it can be kind of another staple in the area. So we're really excited about it, put a lot of time and effort into kind of getting this space ready, and excited to be kind of another community aspect of the city of Salida.
Thank you. And number 3, it says you'll present its request. I feel like you kind of did just then, but if there's anything you want to add to what you just said, you're welcome to. I don't want to stop you, but I feel like we got the gist of it, unless.
I think I'm good.
Okay. And then if there are any authority members that have any questions of the applicants, please feel free at this point. Okay.
When do you expect to open?
So we expect CO on the 9th of December, and then we hope to open about the 10th of January.
Okay. Great. Do we have any other parties of interest with questions? Okay, great, thanks. You're more than welcome to take a seat if you like.
Thank you.
Does the city have any evidence or witnesses?
No.
Nothing, so nothing there. Moving right along, do we have any parties of interest that would like to present evidence and or testimony? Okay. We have Michelle, okay.
Hi, my name is Michelle Saab. I'm a neighbor of Joe and Sarah's, and Emmy, who's Tom's wife, was my daughter's nanny, and they just asked me to come and speak on behalf. I live in the neighborhood. I'm the principal of the middle school, and I trust them both personally and professionally. I think they'll be great business owners, and I'm just really excited to have a place in the neighborhood that we can gather. They're really interested in making it family friendly. We all have young children. I'd love a new place that I can bring my staff for holiday parties or for celebrations. So I'm in full support, and I'm excited about the possibility of something new in the neighborhood.
We appreciate you being here and supporting your friends. Do we have any questions from anyone on the authority for our party of interest? Okay, great, thank you, thank you. Obviously, there's no rebuttal evidence because I don't think there's anything to rebut unless you'd like to make something up. Okay, and if you would like, totally your option, if you'd like to make a closing statement, you can. No, if you're good with that, okay. Very good, okay. So, not hearing any more evidence to be brought before the authority on this matter, I now close the public hearing. Liquor Authority, you may begin your deliberations. Who would like to begin?
It looks like everything's all lined out to me.
No deliberation here. Yeah.
And I would gladly take a motion if there's no more discussion or deliberation.
Mr. Mayor, I move to approve a new tavern liquor license request for Lucky Penny Group LLC, DBA Liberty Hall at 136 Old Stage Road, Unit 1A.
Second.
So we have a motion from Councilmember Curtelli, seconded by Councilmember Stevens. The motion is to approve a new tavern liquor license request for Lucky Penny Group LLC, DBA Liberty Hall at 136 Old Stage Road, Unit A. Further discussion?
Martin,
Yes.
Nacarado,
Yes.
Stevens,
Yes.
Pappenfort. Yes. Critelli,
Yes.
Fontana.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Congratulations.
Oh,
Look forward to seeing you there.
Good luck.
Thanks. Thank you. Next up is amplified sound permit for the Parade of Lights. This is a public hearing. I will hereby open the public hearing and turn it over to city staff to summarize their report.
So we received an amplified sound permit application from Robin Najim on behalf of High Country Bank for the annual Parade of Lights for November 29th, beginning at 4. Amplified sound permits are allowed to be administratively approved between the dates of May 1st and November 1st. After November 1st, they require public hearing with City Council. Since this date is outside that window, we are having a public hearing. Staff is recommending approval of the amplified sound permit for the annual Parade of Lights to be held November 29th between the hours of 4 p.m. and 8 p.m. And I can hopefully answer questions if you have them.
Anyone have any questions for Christy?
You know, if I recall, everything is just, announcements and so forth. There's not a big loud band or anything, right?
Right.
Okay. Seeing no other questions, the city is also the applicant, so we got a report, probably nothing to add there. Do we have anyone signed up for public comment?
I don't think so.
And nobody online? Okay. Moving right along, no need for rebuttal from either the staff or the applicant, which are the same. I'll go ahead and close the public hearing, and that will take us to preliminary council discussion. Who would like to begin?
Is there going to be fireworks this year for it?
Yes, there are.
Does that count as amplified sound? They don't need amps for fireworks. So.
That's right. They'll probably go off by 8, so it's within this window. It's my expectation.
Yeah.
It's nice to be able to light fireworks at a time of year where there is no fire danger.
Yeah.
Yes.
For now.
Hey, I shouldn't jinx us, right?
Yeah. Sorry. Things are
fate.
changing.
Yes.
Yeah.
I retract my previous statement. I would take a motion if there's no more discussion.
Mr. Mayor, I move to approve an amplified sound permit for the annual Parade of Lights to be held on November 29th, 2024, between the hours of 4 p.m. and 8 p.m.
Second.
So we have a motion from Councilmember Nacarado, seconded by Councilmember Martin. The motion is to approve an amplified sound permit for the annual Parade of Lights to be held November 29th, 2024, between the hours of 4 p.m. and 8 p.m. Further discussion?
Nacarado,
Yes.
Pappenfort,
Yes.
Stevens,
Yes.
Fontana,
Yes.
Critelli,
Yes.
Martin.
Yes.
Motion passed.
And we have one more amplified sound permit. This is for the New Year's Eve ball drop. This is also a public hearing. So I'll go ahead and open that public hearing and turn it over to city staff to summarize their report.
Okay. This one's just a little bit different. The city's hosting the New Year's Eve ball drop. Submitted an amplified sound application for council's consideration. The ball drop will be at the intersection of F and Sackett Street on December 31st between the hours of 7 p.m. and midnight. With amplified sound permits, it's outside the dates between November 1st and May 1st, but it's also outside the sound or the time limit. So time limit is 10 p.m., so they're requesting midnight, and I think Mr. Almquist might want a few more minutes after midnight, because he said that they want to do some music right after. But he might get up and explain a little bit about the ball drop. Staff is recommending approval of the sound permit for the New Year's Eve ball drop on December 31st between the hours of 7 and midnight. And I can answer any questions, but I think Bill could probably answer
I'm going to make
better.
him the applicant
Okay.
in just a second. So do we have any questions first for Christie before we bring our esteemed applicant up?
And what is canned music? What is that?
It's like canned ham.
It's like, is it like,
It's just playing music like.
I think we'll have our applicant come up and explain it.
okay. Just didn't
I
know
think
if
they're
that
doing
was
the
like
can
the
can.
name of the band.
I'm thinking they're doing the can, but maybe.
I mean,
I don't know is the answer what canned music is. I assume just simply amplified, but
because it was just under.
It was in the
type of
application.
noi- It was like under type of noise. It was in the application, yeah. It's just DJ, MC, I get that, and then canned music, which I thought was, there it is.
Canned music.
I didn't know if that was the name of the band.
Tina helped put this together, so I actually am not 100% sure.
Can we
Just expounding on
can we
DJ.
let the music free?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure, we can free it up.
If that's what
We'll
it
free it up.
is.
If y'all want to free it up, we'll free
I mean,
it up.
yeah.
Open up that can.
Let's bring it in the new year in a good way.
So what'll happen after midnight?
We're just simply talking about doing some music out there leading up to midnight, including the 9 o'clock drop, which we're calling the Big Heart drop at this point, by the way. And then midnight, another drop, and then maybe just a few songs afterwards, just kind of keep the momentum going so it's not necessarily just kind of like fizzles out at that point. And then we can kind of send people on their way and hopefully go spend some money at the bars and restaurants that may be open.
When do you envision, like, after midnight, the music going from,
Like 12:15 or something,
Okay.
literally like maybe 15 minutes
Great,
more.
great.
Yeah, we don't want to go too late because we're going to have to clean up and,
Yeah.
maybe just a few songs.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Awesome. And let's see, we don't have anyone for public comment, right? Okay, nothing public comment. No reason for rebuttal from either the applicant, although no, it's okay, or the staff. So I'm going to go ahead and close the public hearing, and that takes us to preliminary council discussion.
I would offer a motion.
I would take a motion.
I move to approve an amplified sound permit for the New Year's Eve ball drop to be held on December 31st, 2024, between the hours of 7 p.m. and midnight.
Second.
So we have a motion from Councilmember Pappenfort, seconded by Councilmember Stevens. The motion is to approve an amplified sound permit for the New Year's Eve ball drop to be held on December 31st, 2024, between the hours of 7 p.m. and midnight. Further discussion?
Oh, where am I? Stevens?
Yes.
Martin?
Yes.
Critelli?
Yes.
Nacarado?
Yes.
Fontana?
Yes.
Pappenfort?
Yes.
Motion passed.
All right, and moving right along to new business. And the next item is to approve an appointment of a designated representative to the Greater Salida Recreation Corporation Board.
Thank you, Mayor. The city of Salida currently has a 20-year agreement with the Greater Salida Recreation Board, better known as the golf course, in case you were wondering.
Thought it was a Nordic ski.
It could be, just a little. I'm kidding out there,
What that does to the greens.
I might get shot for that comment.
Knock it off.
So we've had this agreement since 2003, and it's starting, we're looking at the renegotiations of that. So while I was perusing the agreement, the current agreement, I noticed that the city council has an opportunity to appoint an ex officio member to the board. And it sounds like we haven't had one for a while. So wanted to bring this forward to you all. As I mentioned, we're starting the renegotiations with this board to look at what the golf course will look like into the future. So this seems like a really great opportunity for the city to be connected with that organization, to really understand the operations there and how we can improve the partnerships.
And just so everybody knows, before I open it up for questions, Councilmember Fontana has very graciously offered to fill this spot. So if anyone hasn't heard that, I just wanted people to be aware of that. But that will take us to questions. Any questions for Christy?
No, just thanks to Suzanne for loving golf and wanting to take this role.
Okay.
Yes.
I have a question,
For life?
just while we're discussing the board. I'm wondering if we can revisit this conversation about Nordic skiing in the winter, or if there will be a more appropriate time for that. But I do wonder if we could look at loosening up the allowance of that in the winter when there's no golf happening.
We can absolutely talk about that during our conversation with the lease. I think would be a great time.
Thank you.
But I can include that in my red lines in the agreement and start the conversation.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? And if not, we can go right into discussion. And if someone wants to make a motion, that's great.
I move to appoint Suzanne Fontana to the Greater Salida Recreation Corporation Board.
Second.
So we have a motion from Councilmember Pappenfort, seconded by Councilmember Curtelli. The motion is to appoint Councilmember Suzanne Fontana to the Greater Salida Recreation Corporation Board. Further discussion?
Critelli,
Yes.
Fontana,
Yes.
Pappenfort,
Yes.
Martin,
Yes.
Stevens,
Yes.
Nacarado.
Yes.
Motion passed.
And Councilmember Fontana, congratulations, and I really do hope you feel better.
Yes, bless your heart.
Okay. Next up is Resolution 2024-69, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Salida, Colorado, expressing support for the Colorado Association of Ski Towns 2024 legislative position statement on housing legislative priorities and the Colorado Municipal League's Policy Committee recommendations for CML-initiated legislation.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
City of Salida is a member of CAS, the Colorado Association of Ski Towns. CAS represents mountain communities across the state and provides a wonderful voice for communities like the City of Salida who are dependent on tourism, sales tax, and all of the other fun things that come along with being a mountain community. It's a really great place for us to get information and understand what other communities are working through. So CAST presented their legislative position statement at their meeting in October, and that's attached to this resolution. And within those priorities, they identified a number of areas where they would like to see communities have more local control and local authority to provide for funding options for affordable housing in our communities. That list of legislative priorities was submitted to the Colorado Municipal League Policy Committee, asking them for their support in CML initiating legislation in the upcoming legislative season that would, again, support local authority to raise revenue for affordable housing. So there were 3 different policies that CAST brought forward to the CML Policy Committee. They're outlined here in this memo. One authorizes counties and municipalities to refer short-term rental taxes to voters. So currently, most counties do not have the authority to refer this measure, and neither do statutory municipalities. So this allows for an opportunity for statutory municipalities and counties to, again, refer to voters. This is not a blank check where it would go into effect. It would still need to be approved by voters. The second is authorizing municipalities and counties to refer residential vacancy tax questions to voters. It would allow local governments to either implement additional property tax, which the city does not have, or assess a different tax on a home square footage property value. Again, going towards a funding for more affordable housing in the community. And the third is drafting legislation to allow municipalities and counties to adopt fees on the transfer of real estate. Currently, unless a municipality had instituted a retail transfer tax prior to 1992, they're not allowed anymore. And so this would give an opportunity for counties and municipalities to implement this fee. This is one that the governor is not probably going to allow to go through, even if it passes through legislation. But that doesn't change CML or CAST's position on bringing this legislation forward. So each of these requests were reviewed by the policy committee and received support for CML to initiate this legislation. So we are bringing this forward as a resolution in which the council can offer their support with this legislative priority, with these legislative priorities through CAST and CML. I sit on the CML Legislative Committee as your representative, so I'm able to provide this information to you as the policy committee meets throughout the legislative session. I'm happy to answer any questions if you have them.
Questions?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I guess just as far as, I was trying to figure out how all three of these would apply to us practically. I'm pretty sure 2 and 3 wouldn't, regardless, because of our statutory status as a city, but
this allows it to,
regardless of
yes.
statute.
Yes, so it would be in statute, which would give us the opportunity to pass the tax.
Both
pass it on to our.
all three of these
Yes.
would enable.
Yes.
Okay, because it was explicitly stated in the first one and not
But,
the other.
right,
Okay.
because currently, yeah, it would apply to the city of Salida, all three of them.
Okay.
would.
All right. That was my only question.
Yep.
Other questions? I want to, just for clarification purposes, so let's say we approve this, it goes to the state, and let's say just one gets passed, because that looks to be the one with the least hurdles. Does that mean at that point we'd be able to differentiate between a primary resident and a second homeowner and then charge percentages rather than what we currently do?
Yes.
Okay. I just wanted the public to know that a lot of the things we couldn't do as a statutory city, when we were putting together the short-term rental taxes, this would allow us to do, and would potentially go back and address concerns for a number of folks.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
So one question, I guess, is that on all real estate transactions? That's
The transfer tax you're talking about?
transfer tax, yeah.
The fee, yes.
Is that for real estate? I mean, for the sale and buying of all properties through the city or through real estate transactions, real estate realtors and stuff like that?
I believe it could be written as it would work for each municipality in general. It would just allow for that because it's not allowed right now. We don't have the opportunity to have that fee.
Are you going to go bend our buddy Polis's ear on this one?
Yeah, it looks like I need to. So it's like, it's gonna shut it
Yeah.
down anyway.
Being asked to approve something that would most certainly be vetoed is an interesting proposition. It's like we're rebellious or something.
It can't hurt to ask. And if we got just one of them, it would be a big win for this community.
Forward. Yeah.
And just a clarification, like this isn't, we're not saying we're going to be doing all of this. This is just giving all the municipalities the opportunity to, correct?
Right, so what's before you right now is if the council is supportive of this legislation, it's just expressing your support of the legislation. It's not doing anything beyond that. It still needs to work through the state legislative process.
And I imagine if nothing more, then it would be interesting to see how it is implemented in other communities. We don't have to do anything, but.
And one of the advantages of being part of CAST is you can share ideas.
Right, yeah.
To the motion, great, okay. Yes? No, Joe.
We ready for a motion?
We are most ready.
I move to approve Resolution 2024-69, a resolution of the City Council for the City of Salida, Colorado, expressing support for the Colorado Association of Ski Towns 2024 Legislative Position Statement on Housing Legislative Priorities and the Colorado Municipal League's Policy Committee recommendations for CML-initiated legislation.
Second.
That was close, but I think you got it. So we have a motion from Councilmember Nacarado, seconded by Councilmember Pappenfort. The motion is to approve Resolution 2024-69, a resolution of the City Council for the City of Salida, Colorado, expressing support for the Colorado Association of Ski Towns 2024 Legislative Position Statement on Housing Legislative Priorities and Colorado Municipal League's Policy Committee recommendations for CML-initiated legislation. Further discussion?
Guess I just wanted to say, I think this was a good way to underscore, I've heard many times of like, you know, what about all these homes sitting vacant, you know, and how do we tax that? I mean, it's just, I think it's just important. I've had that conversation a lot of like, we just can't simply, we don't have that authority. So I think this is like a good way to just underscore all the potential tools out there that we just don't have access to.
And sort of tied to that, it's, you know, just leveraging this CAST relationship. Because if it was just us expressing this point of view at the state level, our voices probably wouldn't be heard. But when you think about all the communities in the state coming together, not only sharing best ideas, but amplifying their voice. So I'm really glad to be part of that organization. So, yeah.
Pappenfort,
Yes.
Critelli,
Yes.
Nacarado,
Yes.
Martin,
Yes.
Stevens,
Yes.
Montana.
No.
Motion passed.
Okay. And then next up is Resolution 2024-71, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Salida, Colorado, approving an annexation agreement with Ned Cease for the annexation of certain real property into the city. Boy, you are on it tonight.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I will very briefly present the key elements of the cease annexation agreement for the record this evening.
Let me get
As you may recall, the request for the annexation included a total of 5.98 acres and is located at 6953 County Road 105, and also included a portion of the Confluence Road right-of-way. A previous pre-annexation agreement for Triple T Ranch minor subdivision required the property to be annexed once contiguity had been achieved, and city sanitary sewer services were also provided to the property under that agreement. The state mandated process was completed for the annexation, and the property was zoned R3. The agreement contains recommended conditions of approval outlined during the annexation process. In general, all of the proposed development, future development shall meet the requirements of the municipal code, and other specific conditions state that all cost recovery agreements and payment terms and conditions shall be satisfied. The use of the existing well is allowed to continue with payment of appropriate fees when required. The existing agricultural uses are permitted to continue. Any expansion of non-conforming uses and structures would require the appropriate rezoning at that time. And the property owner will be responsible for a proportional share of the road and right-of-way improvements with future development. And there will be no minimum density applied to the Exhibit C area, as that would be applicable if there is that type of requirement in future land use code. And this is the area that we were talking about with that constraint. In addition, appropriate right-of-way dedications and improvements must be completed prior to the issuance of any certificate of occupancy for new development. And payment of the Two Rivers South Side and Confluent Park subdivision fees will be required upon connection to city water. Appropriate right-of-way dedication and improvements are required for Trenton Street to be completed. And payment of all applicable fees and fees in lieu for development of the property would be required in accordance with city code at that time. And the annexer may apply for a short-term rental license in accordance with standard city procedures. So those were all discussed and agreed to by Mr. Cease and approved by the city attorney. And so we have a motion if you'd like to proceed.
Do we have any questions first?
Mr. Mayor, I move to approve Resolution 2024-71, approving the cease and annexation agreement.
Second.
So we have a motion from Councilmember Pappenfort, seconded by Councilmember Nacarado. The motion is to approve Resolution 2024-71, approving the cease annexation agreement. Further discussion?
Fontana,
Yes.
Nacarado,
Yes.
Stevens,
Yes.
Critelli,
Yes.
Pappenfort,
Yes.
Martin.
Yes.
The motion passed.
Wow, thank you.
Thank you.
Well, it is 6:40 and we're at council reports. And we will start with Councilmember Pappenfort.
Happy Thanksgiving. That's my report.
Okay, Councilmember Stevens.
Yeah, not too much. Just I wanted to go back to the open mic, sorry, the open comment section there about the Prost meeting, about what she brought up about an opportunity for the city council to be able to streamline communication between Prost and the board a little bit better. I don't know if we would bring it to staff to kind of come up with a way to maybe, I don't know what we do to maybe designate a council member to.
I would support that.
To do that, yeah.
Yep, I'd support it, and maybe the step to take is at some point get them to come in and do a joint work session. Does that make sense to? Okay. Okay.
Yeah, that's kind of all I had to go.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember Nacarado.
Not much for me tonight. One question. Councilmember Martin and I had both asked for a work session with the Alliance, and I wanted to see if that's coming up.
It is your next work session, December 2nd.
Thank you.
Ask and ye shall receive.
Like a boss.
That's it.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember Martin.
You have a few things tonight. So we all attended the financial stability meeting, and just a few takeaways that I had from that. We kind of discussed a little bit of rubric for subsidized entities and just how to make a decision on how much is subsidized and everything. And I was just curious if we can maybe start to have a rubric of some sort.
Sorry, what?
Like a rubric.
Oh.
Just to kind of help us out in the future of figuring out, again, just like what entities we need to be subsidizing and how much.
So staff will be working on the service category plan that comes out of that. It will not be entity specific. It is service category specific. So it wouldn't name entities that we would be subsidizing. It would talk about different types of activities that, and where they would fall in the cost of service category. So staff is going to start working on that, and we'll be bringing that forward to you, but that is in the works for the next month and a half or so.
Perfect, great.
Perfect.
And then maybe if we, just with that meeting as well, kind of establishing policies for a contingency fund, like how do we spend that money? I don't know if anybody would want to second that, having some sort of policy on how to spend it.
Would support a policy to build it first. I worry about even using the word spend at this point in time. How do we build it?
Build it and have something that's fair and defensible.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd be into that.
Can you define contingency fund a little bit? So it's beyond the Tabor requirement, is what I'm hearing. So we have a state mandated savings account basically that we have to keep. So we also have a reserve policy. So is it something beyond those two policies that are already in place that you're looking for?
I don't know the answer to that.
Okay, we can bring that forward and show you kind of what we already have in place and the percentage or dollar amount that it equates to, and we can continue the conversation if that is helpful.
My sense is that meeting was just a starting point. There will be lots of conversations moving forward. Yeah.
It was my understanding, the takeaway from that was that we need to build up our funds to take care of deferred maintenance. So whether that's in contingency or elsewhere, however it needs to be addressed, maybe we need more information about that.
Okay, we can put that together.
And then I was hoping to maybe get a report on the finance committee meeting that we just had yesterday, more specifically on the inclusionary housing fund guideline review, and there was a budget amendment. I don't know, at least if you were there yesterday.
Yes, I was there. Yeah.
Budget?
And so Amy will report out on the budget amendment. We try to have as few of those as possible, but you're going to always have at least one because things didn't happen, in the year you thought, all that kind of thing. So that's all real normal, and Amy will report out on that when we are ready to vote on it as a council. What was the other part?
The inclusionary housing fund guideline review. I just don't know if there was changes to it.
We
or
didn't
something.
really create any additional guidelines because so much of the money, and please you chime in too.
Sure,
Ben,
yeah.
that so much of the money is spoken for with the D Street apartments, with South Arc, and so when we get finished spending all of that, then maybe that will be the appropriate time. We're certainly hoping that some other developers will come forward with something like the flour mill where there is significant, but that's happened once in the history of Salida. And so that's my report.
Yeah, I think it's a good summary. I think what we're really trying to do is look down the road a little bit from the committee's standpoint to try to find other partnerships so we can work with to allow the city to continue to pursue affordable housing options. So, and then with the budget amendment, we had some noticing challenges with regards to that. So that amendment was delayed. It will come up in the next cycle. So, but it is a standard activity, as Councilmember Papenforth mentioned. We did the same thing last year about this time. So it's really just making sure that we have everything set aside properly.
Okay.
So.
Thank you, guys.
Sure.
Thank you. And then my last thing, I have some exciting news for personal personal news. I am closing tomorrow on my house through the Housing Trust. And I'm really excited. It started this journey in March 2022. So it's been a long time. And I just want to give a huge shout out to Reed McCulloch and to Claudia Pauskill for making this all happen. And that's all for me tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Curtelli.
Yeah, I guess I just wanted to bring up my thoughts on the financial sustainability strategy process that we spent multiple hours participating in. As the way it was written out in the Mountain Mail, the quote that stuck out to me was, some would call it bleak, and I guess I just wanted to just throw this out there that I wasn't one of them that would call the outlook bleak. And I wanted to just further expand on that thought is because of the people that were sitting in that room that were coming up with solutions. It was perfect timing that Jess came up and touted the strength of the Post Board, but also the artists that we have in this community. I think it's when you remember what really made the steam plant what it is today, it was our artists. What really made our Boarded Up Downtown what it is today is our artists. I think when they are put to the test, they've proven time and time again that they've taken what is otherwise bleak and made amazing things happen. And I want to just put that on our current facilities. I think that it was so poignant the way the word optimization was put into just the summary of what is going on. It's to optimize what we already have, which is a lot. It's great. We have a theater. We have an aquatic center. A lot of communities don't have that. So it is easy to look at things with a glass half empty. I think that it's just amazing that we have these facilities and we have so much potential with the people that make those things so great and just the brick and mortar itself. I look forward to seeing how things shift in our arts and culture. I know we've had some leadership changes, and I just want to implore staff to utilize the artists. They've done it once before, not that long ago. And they can do it again of bringing this revitalization back to our steam plant, which was otherwise just a glorified bird cage. I think we have so much potential, and I look just forward to, while it is sad to say, hey, we need to put our brakes on as far as building new facilities, I think it's just, there's so much potential with what we already have. And with that, Thanksgiving, I wish everybody a Thanksgiving as well. And that's all I have.
Well
Thank
said.
you.
All right, well, thanks.
And Councilmember Fontana.
She asked me to read her comments for her.
Okay.
She sent them to me. First, thank you for the appointment to the Greater Salida Recreation Board. Second, please read Jim Wilson's letter and support for, Spiral Drive. He is speaking for many citizens in Salida. And last, I would like to thank everyone involved in the Veterans Day celebrations last week. We have a proud veteran community in Salida, and from the various organizations to the businesses. Thanks to High Country Bank and the Elks and those marching in the parade and after parade festivities. And last, thanks to staff for the work session last night. Very thorough presentation. Happy Thanksgiving.
Great, thank you. And I just had a few things. One, just to sort of echo her comments on the Veterans Day Parade. Really was an honor to be there. It is a phenomenal group of individuals. Really proud to be getting to know them and to be able to march, and for their service, their sacrifice. And it is a tradition that is so, so important to this community. So that was the first thing. Today, I had the opportunity to go over to the Pharisee Boys dealership for the unveiling of a new electric charging station, and got some more detail around all the solar they're putting up on the roof to offset all the energy consumption. So really appreciate a community partner like that that's willing to make that investment to offset. And I didn't mind the ride I got in the electric Hummer today. That thing can accelerate. Fortunately, for both them and for me, I was not the one behind the wheel. So, and then finally, I just wanted the public to know, I know there's been a lot of communication. Councilmember Cotelli spoke a little bit to it, and others did as well, around that meeting we had recently. And just wanted the public to know there will be a press release going out very shortly that will provide more information on that. And I know, and I don't want to put him on the spot, but I know that as I turn it over to our treasurer, he is going to speak a little bit to that as well. So I'll turn it over to you. Thank you, and happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, I just wanted to talk a little bit about the city's ongoing response to the recently presented financial management plan. City Council, along with city staff, are all focused on finding solutions to the challenges that were presented. With the leadership of the mayor and the city administrator, I am confident that effective solutions will be developed, implemented, and due to the foresight of staff, the city has plenty of runway to address the challenges that have been identified. So stay tuned. We are working on this, and we will continue to work tirelessly at it. So also, I need to do my treasurer's report. So I am happy because the September city sales tax collections increased by about $62,000, or about 7.3% as compared to September of 2023. The city's portion of Chaffee County sales tax collections also increased by about $16,000, which is a 4.9% increase over September of 2023. In total, sales tax receipts are 6.6% higher for September and 3.3% higher year to date. Additionally, I'm happy to report that the general fund balance is showing favorable. That's the end of my report.
Great, thank you very much. And the only other thing I want to add to that is just that I know this was alarming to some people, but it's because we're trying to be anticipatory and transparent at the same time. And so stay tuned. We will continue to put out information on this. But rather than wait till 2029 at the rate we were going at, if we didn't change course, we're spending a lot of time figuring out the best way forward. And I'm really, really happy that we have the staff we have that is taking this approach. And then next up, do we have an attorney report?
I just want to say hello to everyone. It was great being there in person yesterday for the trainings, and just enjoy Thanksgiving next week. Thank you.
Thanks. And then department updates.
Thank you.
Wow, okay. All we have left is a motion to adjourn.
I move we adjourn.
All in favor?
Aye.
Have a great Thanksgiving, everybody.
All opposed? No, not yet. I can't go home, guys. I need this. Going home sucks.